Hi everyone, Chris Chinnock here for the 8K Monitor. It is issue 51 for April 12. I've got a number of interesting articles to talk about this week. First one I want to talk about is 8K encoding data rates. So the idea here is, does it take more data to encode 8K content versus 4K versus 1080p? Well, of course it does, but the question is, does that scale linearly? In other words, if it takes 6 megabits for 1080, does it take 96 megabits for 8K, 16 times the resolution? The answer is no. And in fact, there's a power scale rule, a 0.75 power rule to scale that, to scale resolution and data rates. So going from 6 megabits in 1080 to 8K with this 0.75 power rule, means that you'll have to need about 48 megabits. Well, is that true when you actually do that scaling? We asked Jan Ozer, an expert in this area, to find out. He used some 8K content and 4K and 1080p versions of that same content, all encoded to the same quality level, and did some comparisons. And the results are actually pretty fascinating. And he's derived a new power rule. If you want to know what those data rates are and the new power rule, please check out our article on the 8K Monitor news page. The second article in issue 51 has to do with ATEM and their use of VVC for the Brazilian standard that's being developed by SBTVB, TVD. Specifically, this organization is developing both a broadcast and a broadband next generation solution. They've already certified that VNova's preprocessor LCEVC will be used with VVC. But now in this new article, we expand on that and talk about how ATEM's Titan encoder has also been certified for use in broadcast. And interestingly, it's a VVC encoder and HEVC is not even been specified. And the reason is they're specifically looking at the 8K use case and want to make sure that they can go directly to VVC to solve that problem. You can read more again on our website. In our commentary section, we talk about a new 8K Association member, Wirestorm. They've joined the organization to try and develop an understanding of how 8K is going to evolve in the professional AV market, the pro AV market. They offer cables, they offer switchers, they offer all kinds of equipment to serve this part of the market. And so we're happy to have them as new members. Also in our commentary section, we have a story about what BT Sport has just done. They've actually done a live demonstration of 8K sporting content to homes in the UK. Now, this is the second demo BT Sport has done. The first one was done as an in-stadium demo. This one is actually going out to consumers using a full production crew, 8K cameras from Sony, an OB van equipped for 8K production, and distribution, encoders, and packaging. So it's a full-on demonstration. Now, BT Sport is not going to announce that they're going to do this as a service yet. It's still a demonstration, but obviously a key milestone in developing any service in the future. We hope to dig in a little bit more on this and tell you more in the future about their workflow. We also have a few stories that we've provided links to specifically that talk about some new 8K distribution amplifiers, mostly to serve the professional AV market, since these are HDMI amplifiers, distribution amplifiers. There's also a nice review of the Nikon Z9 Camera. This is kind of a prosumer camera in the $5,000–6,000 price point range. And what's particularly interesting about this one is it uses the Tico RAW codec on the camera to allow 8K 60 capture. One of the only, I think it's the only camera that can actually do that in this price point. There's also a nice article about how you want to future-proof your home theater by buying an 8K TV. Well, we hope so. And also C2G has released a a new Thunderbolt 4 cable, which uses the USB-C connector. So that's it for the news of issue 51, April 12th. Chris Chinnock here.